to CodeSoft. In this video, we are going to talk about the question majority element in an array. So let's get started. Now the problem statement says that we need to write a function which takes an array and prints the majority element. So a majority element is a part of an array and we need to find it. So what is the majority element? So a majority element in the array is an element that appears more than n by 2 times. Basically, if there are n elements in the array, so any element that is occurring n by 2 plus 1 times, so that is a majority element and we need to find that majority element in an array. Now we need to note that in a particular array there can only be one majority element, because if any element is occurring more than n by 2 plus 1 times, that is n by 2 plus 1 times, so the remaining element is n by 2 minus 1, and n by 2 minus 1 is less than n by 2, so there is no possibility of two elements that are majority. Right. So if we talk about an example test case, so this is an array that is having 3, 3, 4, 2, 4, 4, 2, 4, and 4. So if you see 4 is occurring 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 times. And the total number of elements in the array is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So out of 9, 4 is occurring 5 times, which is n by 2 plus 1 greater than half. And that is why 4 is the majority element in this array. So at this point, I hope the question is clear to you. I would request you to pause the video and try the question on yourself. If you're not able to, then please refer to this video. Okay, so now let's look at the brute force approach to the problem. So the brute force approach actually takes two loops, that is nested loops. What it does is it starts first loop, that is the ith loop. Ith loop tells us the element whose count we will be tracking. So for example, when I will be 0, we will be tracking the count of 3. Now we will start another loop, that is j. J will go from 0 till the end, and j will check that whether the element of arrj is equal to arri, that is 3. If that is the case, it will just increment the count. So after first jth loop, that when j will reach the end, the count of 3 will be 1 and 2. So count of 3 will be 2, right? And then after that it will check whether count is greater than max count or not. That will be true, so max count will become 2. After that I will go one step ahead. Again it will encounter 3, count of, then j will traverse from 0 till the end and again count the number of threes in the array. It will be 2, so count will remain 2 and max count will also remain 2. After that our I will go one step ahead, that is to 4. Now j will calculate the number of 4s present in the array, that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So our count will be incremented to 5 and we will check if max count is less than count, that is if count is greater than max count, we will update our max count. So our max count becomes 5 after this case, right? And we will also store the element that is giving us the max count. So 4 will be stored till now. Then I will go to 2. It will check number of 2's, that is 2. 2, so our count will be 2, but 2 is less than 5, so max count will not be updated, and so on till the end of the array. We will get 4 as the answer. So this is how our brute force approach will work. So if we talk about the implement, first we will take an element that is int max count equal to 0. So this element will actually be saving the max count. After that we will start an index that is equal to -1. So this index will store the index of the element that gives us the max count or the majority element. Now this is the first loop, the ith loop. Inside it we initialize count equals to 0. So this count refers to each element that I will be referring to. After that we will start the jth loop. Inside j we will check if arri equal to arrj. We will just increment count. So at the end of j, the element that is pointing through I, the count of that element will be calculated in count. We will check if count is greater than max count. We will update the max count with the value of count and index with I. So this index will be storing the element that is the majority element. At the end of the array, we will check if the max count is greater than n by 2. That is the element that is pointing to the maximum frequency in the array. If that frequency is greater than n by 2, that means we have found our majority element and we will see out that element. So this was the brute force approach. That is the first approach that we are looking in this problem. If we talk about the complexity, so this is taking O of n square time complexity, because there is a nested loop, that is I and j. And if I talk about the space complexity, so space complexity is O of 1, because we are not using any separate array for storing anything. So now let's look at the next solution. So the next solution is done using sorting. So what does this solution say is we can just sort the array. This will bring all the same elements together and we can count each element until any different element occurs. So what do I mean by this is, suppose this was our original array, right? And after this, if we will sort the array, our sorted array will look something like this, right? Now you can see all the same elements are present together. So we can just start a loop that will start from here. It will check if the element are same, we will increment the count. Whenever we encounter any different element, we will replace the count by 0. And before doing that, we will just compare the count with max count. If it is greater than max count, we will update the max count. So similarly, we will just keep updating the count of each elements that are similar and are present together, that we will get after sorting. So if I talk about the time complexity, this will take O of n log n time, because we know that a sorting of an element can be done best in O of n log n time. And if I talk about the space complexity, so that will be O of 1, because we are not using any extra or any auxiliary array for storing the elements or any frequency. So now let's look at the implementation using this sorting technique. So first we will sort the array, then we will initialize few variables. Count equals to 1 because we are actually assuming that the first element is included, and temp equal to ARR 0. This is because temp will store the element whose frequency or count we are actually calculating. The max element is -1 because we haven't found any element's frequency yet. So we are just assuming it to be -1. Right. Now we start the loop from I equals to 1, I less than n, I plus plus, right? So in this loop, we check if temp equals to ARR I. That means that if our ARR I, the element that is coming in the loop, is it equal to the previous element? If yes, we just increment the count. That means because we have sorted the elements, the continuous elements are same or not. If they are same, we are incrementing it. If they are not same, we are actually assuming that the current element, that is the ith element, it is the beginning of the new same elements. So count will be 1, we are including that element, and temp equals to ARR I, because that element will now be checked in the further array, that the next element that will come, is it equal to this element or not. This is, we will go, and also we will check if max element is less than count. Why so? Because at each element we need to check that whether the count's value is greater than max ELE or not. If that is the case, we will update the max ELE value with count, and our ELE will store ARRI. This is because we are storing the element also. This ELE is actually the element that is having the majority element in it, right? And also we are checking if max ELE is greater than n by 2. In any case, we just break that element, and we will just print the ELE at the end, because we have found our element that is having the max ELE value. So this is the solution, the optimized solution using sorting with time complexity of O of n log n and space complexity of O of 1. Okay, so now let's look at the implementation using hash map. So first we will create the unordered map of type int and int. So key is int and value is also int. Key stores the element whose value we are checking, and the value stores the number of times it is occurring inside the array. So we start a loop that is traversing through the array, and while doing so, it is just updating the count values of all the elements that are present in the array. Right. After this loop, we will have all the values, the count values of each element in the array. Then we will create a variable count. This count is like a flag variable. If it is 0, that means we haven't found any majority element. And if this will be 1, then we will be having a majority element. So this actually stores, this is basically kind of a Boolean flag variable. After that, we just loop through our map and check if the value of any of the key is greater than size by 2. That is, it is having the value greater by n by 2. That is, we have found our majority element. So we will just increment I dot first. We will just print I dot first in that case. Basically, we will print the key value whenever we will actually print the key whenever the value is greater than size by 2. We will also do count equals to 1. This is because we are telling the program that we are setting the count value as 1, and we have found the majority element. At this point, we will break our array because we have found our majority element. So this is the solution using our hash map, and this takes O of n time in, if we talk about the complexity, which is the best so far. But another thing is that it takes O of n space complexity also, because we are creating a map that will store the values of the that will store the frequency values of all the elements. So the worst scenario is that when all the elements are different in the array, so the size of the map will be n, or the size of the array. So that is why the space complexity is O of n in this case, and time complexity is also O of n. So this is the hashing implementation of this particular problem. I hope this is clear and all the other methods are clear. This can even be optimized using the voting algorithm, which we will look at separately in some other video. So that's all with this video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to add more festoons into your knowledge garland. Until then, please keep subscribing.